Welcome everybody to a first presentation of the Change Journey and the Change Journey Map. Today is March the 2nd, 2010, and I'm very proud to present to you our new work. My colleague Visa Kurokuro from Finland and I have been working on that for the last year. It started with an idea and we had a lot of meeting over the last year, and now finally this is what we can present to you. Now, let me give you a short presentation of the background and of the concept of the Change Journey Map. The Change Journey is, we say, a radical approach to change. For those of you who are in change consulting, you all know that the old paradigm of linear development and linear organizational change is, of course, an illusion. And we base that on the paradigm that change in organization is not a linear path from A to B. So what we say is what happens in a change process is largely unpredictable. You can do a little bit of planning, but you have to check with reality all of the time. And I was looking for a long time for a conceptual framework which helps to embed this new paradigm into very simple and very down-to-earth work with organizations. And this is how we came up with the Change Journey, the Change Journey Map. So, although we should know better, people in organizations still base their strategies on the assumption that organizations can be understood as machines. This is a very old image of organizations, but it's so dominant, particularly followed by the age of project management, which gave us the suggestion that projects, even complex projects, can be really planned from A to B. But we all know it's not possible. Organizations are social systems, and they are following laws of complexity. And this is what makes people crazy, and this is why people so often suffer from failed change approaches. And we also all know the figures that between 60 and 80% of change projects fail. They are cited again and again, and we feel it also when we go to organizations. We feel it painfully in our own work that change projects fail or succeed only partly. So we often believe when we work with organizations, and many managers do that we can find an explanation for everything if we analyze deep enough. I had a story like some years ago when I went to a big international manufacturer who had quality problems, the same quality problems for 20, 30 years, and the clients came back and complained about the quality problems in a certain aspect of their technology. And I discussed with the engineers, and what they said is, we just have to analyze more. We have to find the root cause, and then we can solve the problem. But they had been doing it for like 20 years. So the truth is, many things can only be understood retrospectively. And maybe some of you know the Cinefin framework from Dave Snowden, who says there are a few very simple things which can be understood and managed by best practice. There are complicated processes which we can analyze, and we can do scenario planning, but we can understand it. So they're complicated. But as we know, many, many things that happen in organizations are complex. So they can only be understood retrospectively. And some things are chaotic. They can never be understood. So obviously, we need to find new patterns. We need to find patterns where we allow for multiple perspectives. We need patterns where we can allow for overlapping responsibilities, excuse me, based on common thinking, and solve the paradigm problems of change. And we have to face that there is a changing and unpredictable environment. So, bottom line is we need a lot of dialogue.
Joining the conference,
Loretta Donovan. What we introduce with the Change Journey Map is a new dialogue tool. We know there are hundreds of different change management models. And I've been to a client some months ago, and I presented just a collection of change management models just for fun. And one of them was Cotter, John Cotter's 8 Steps. And the client said, "Oh my God, don't mention Cotter. We have We have worked with color already, and we burned our fingers. So I don't say all these models and tools, methodologies are bad. They all work in certain settings, but they don't work in other settings. So none of them guarantees success. So why don't we as consultants let the organizations design their own model? So for that, we have the change Journeymap, which helps to navigate through uncertainty and helps clients to create their own model of change. Now, how does it work? And going back to that slide here is a little slide of the change Journeymap, which shows the whole map, and of course in the moment you only see aspects of it. So the map in the moment has 23 places plus a couple of empty spaces, like for example the Mall of Human Needs. Each of the places has some questions attached. We're working on background text. We're working on tools that can be applied at that places, but they're mainly meant to inspire a dialogue. So for example, if you go to the Mall of Human Needs, you will have like cards, and on this card there are a couple of questions which you see on the right side. And there's always the question, what other questions do we need to ask? So when we go to organizations with this tool, what we do is we ask them to find out where they are on the map, where they come from, and most important, where they should go to. And just a second. All right, I'm back now. So we ask them where to go to, and then have an iterative process of finding the important steps in their change journey. And the 23 places which you have defined in the moment are somehow the main stages in a change journey. Some people might look at the emotions which come up. Some people might need to look at the needs of the people. Some people might need to discuss what are leadership patterns. Some people might need to revisit their goals, and so on and so on. All these 23 places will be defined one by one collaboratively on our website. So, as a change practitioner, you can use the map to facilitate a dialogue with a team or a whole organization. You can let them define their own change model, or maybe you don't call it a change model, maybe you call it their own change path. And you can help them by choosing the right tools and methodologies. And there is where you as consultants or change practitioners come in again, because if people, for example, want to talk about their leadership patterns, what are the tools you would use? If people want to establish trust, how would you approach that? If people want to talk about what are our old habits which we have to let go, you have your tools how to work with it. So, if you're involved in helping organizations to change, we invite you. And some of you have followed the invitation already. I'm very happy about that.